guys, have you ever had a day where you thought to yourself, man, everything's just going perfect, and then immediately regretted that thought because you know exactly how bad everything's going to wind up for the rest of the day? Well, that's kind of how my day's going. But for you guys, it's going to go good because it's Friday, and that means it's time for a fast, nope, not a fast five. It's time for a 5 fast. And what are we going to look at today? We're going to look at 5 fast, strange strops. So turn down the volume. Here comes a little bit of music. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to start that so quick. That's the kind of thing I was talking about. That's how today's going. So at any rate, these are all different items that can be used as strops. I've used some of them myself. I've seen some of them used by other people. There is one in there that is going to be determinant on where you're at if you're able to do it. But we're going to look at 5 items that can be used as a strop that are kind of out of what most people typically think of. So, you usually have leather strops, and sometimes they have felt or canvas, but these are all going to be items that you just have pretty much laying around that you could use in a pinch as a strop. So we're not going to sit here and talk about it any longer. We're going to turn it around.
So I want to preface this by saying that these items might not work on some steels. There are some steels that are way harder that might not respond to these strop materials as well. Now, we all know that there are multiple things you can use as a strop. Leather works the best, but there's some other things you can do. So we're going to start off with something because I need it. I basically need it as a base for the rest of them, which is just plain wood. This is a piece of balsa wood. It does not have any strop compound at all on it. You can actually use this. Wood has got natural silicates and stuff in it. I've actually used this numerous times. This is just a piece of balsa wood on a pine wood block. It used to get, I just made this. It used to get a diamond compound on it. I just basically use it like this now. And it works really well for just laying up an edge on something that might not be a really hard steel. This is N690 cobalt, and it takes a really, really aggressive edge stropped on this. Now, this isn't going to work as well as a loaded strop. None of these will, but there are enough abrasives naturally in the fibers of the wood that they pick up as they grow and after they dry and all those things, that you can actually touch the edge back up on it using just plain wood. Balsa wood works about the best because it's nice and soft and it kind of conforms to your edge. You can actually buy balsa wood strops. I typically load mine with diamond spray, but you can actually just use them unloaded just like this, and they do work. And the nice thing is, if it feels like it's not working anymore, just hit it with some sandpaper and it brings your, you can actually, let's see, I've got powder on my hand from having used it. It'll bring those new clean fibers up and you'll have more silicates at the surface. So there you go. There's your first one. Just plain old wood. This next one, a lot of these work the same way. This is just a receipt. This thermal ink that is in this, the way these work is, there's ink embedded in the paper, and when you use this, it acts as, it heats up and it darkens it. You can actually remove that just by heating up the entire thing. It'll change color. If you leave this out in the sun, the ink will disappear over time. Now, what you can do is you can just lay that on something nice and flat. This is a post office receipt. Just lay it on something nice and flat, and you just strop it on it, and the ink that is in this actually is abrasive. I got this idea because when I was in Japan, there was a TV show that showed that you can, let's see if I can do it. It was telling women that if you want to polish your nails and get a good shine on them, that the ink that is in this is abrasive enough that it will remove fingernail and it will polish, as you can see, your fingernails. So I tried it on some knives and I'm like, wow, that really does work. So if you are in a pinch and you need to just touch up an edge and it's not too bad, you can use just a post office receipt. And then when you're done, if you want to test your edge, this is a nice thin piece of paper and you can get a good test and see how your edge is. So there you go. There's number 2. Just a receipt, a printed receipt that comes from any of your local vendors. kind of unusual. This next one, you don't necessarily have to put it on a piece of wood. I have the piece of wood out here to hold it, is just plain old cardboard. Cardboard has wood fibers that have natural silicate in it, but then there's also binding agents that they use for holding this brown paper together. And so there's a lot of what do you call it, ceramic mud and thing in this as binding agents to hold these paper fibers together. And what it allows it is it gives it some minor abrasive qualities. And anyone can tell you that they've probably seen someone doing this. You've been cutting cardboard, and this, pretty much anything that can dull a knife is abrasive enough to at least touch the edge back up somewhat. And I'm not gonna kid, that is really aggressive. So, you know, just a plain old piece of cardboard, just to the nature of it being shredded wood and then being bound with some ceramic mud and some binding agents that hold it together that are also have silicates and things like that, or like I said, some ceramics to them. It works pretty well as a strop. It does not work as well as the next one that I'm going to bring up. So there you go. Just a plain old piece of cardboard. So we talked about cardboard. Here's another paper product. Plain old newspaper. Not only does this have the ink like we were talking about in the receipt, which that paper is not the same kind of paper and it slicks up. This paper is bound with a ceramic mud as well that winds up being about a 2000 grit abrasive-ish. And then the ink also adds as an abrasive, and so you can touch this back up. This is something that's easily found. All you have to do is wrap a block of wood around a piece of newspaper, or wrap a piece of wood with a piece of newspaper, and you have a real quick disposable ready-made strop. This does work better on some steels. The reason I'm using this knife, this is that N690 Cobalt. It responds really well to all of these unusual stropping compounds. Something harder like N690, probably not going to get as much done on this as it would if it was on a regular strop, but you still can get some. You can get some change in your edge on newspaper, even with some of those harder steels. Some of the steels that really respond to this, like I said, N690, X690 CO, AR-RPM9 that Artisan uses, actually that is my preferred strop, is newspaper on AR-RPM9. It responds really well. And like I said, it's just simple little things that you have around you that you can use as a strop. So there is number 3, a piece of newspaper. I'm sorry, number 4. All right, so this last one, you don't need the block of wood. Just a simple piece of 550 paracord. Now, the way this works is you're not going to get much from the paracord itself. It's not going to do a lot. It doesn't have much. You can touch up a little bit with this. It is abrasive enough. You might do something to touch the edge up if it's not bad. But the way I saw this used and have tried it in the past was they made a loop for them to stand in. They made a loop for them to hold with one hand. And the Marine that I saw do this took some clay and dirt and made a paste and rubbed it in and left it wet and just kept adding a little bit until he got enough of that in there that when he stood in it, pulled it up tight, he stropped it on that. Now, the paracord was not what was doing the actual work. It was the clay that he was using, which is an abrasive, and it was fine clay. This was up at, I forget which one of the bases this was, but the soil was kind of clay. It was kind of hard, and once you wet it, you got this nice mud, and he just completely covered the piece of 550 cord in it and stropped his knife up. Was it a good clean edge? No, it was not a great edge, but his knife went from dull to passably sharp in a relative short amount of time. And the fact was, all he had to do was, if it wasn't getting it completely done, he just basically added a little bit more mud to it. So there you go. There is number 5, 550 cord strange strops. Guys, this was fun. This was something that I sat and I thought about. I was like, all these different ways you can strop your knife. I thought it would be cool to just put it together in a video. And plus I wanted to show this off some more. I'm enjoying carrying this little knife right here that we did the video about yesterday. So guys, that's it. Let's not make this take any longer. Let's turn this around and do some final thoughts. And so I can get you guys off to enjoy the rest of your Friday. Remind everyone, tonight we're doing the live feed with, I'm going to have Pete from Cedric and Ada on the channel tonight at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. So I would ask that everybody that can stop by, because it's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and not to make this any longer, but I thought I would just remind you guys.
Like I said with that last one, it's a little bit unusual because it's determined on if you have the availability of the clay soil that you can put on that 550 cord. But it works. I've seen it done. I've seen it be used, and it actually will put an edge back up on a knife. Hang on a second. It's continuing with the theme of today. So all those things, there you go. There's 5 strange items that can be used as strops. Guys, if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down, but please try to tell me why. I can't change the content if you don't tell me what you don't like. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as, like I always say, like, share, subscribe. It's the best way to help the channel. It pushes further up the algorithm. But if you do want to support the channel financially, there's a lot of ways you can do it. I have a bunch of stuff set up down in the description tab. I have a membership tab that gets you early access to videos, exclusive content based on tier, a premium tier sharpening tutorial series, and you save $5 per knife in for sharpening. I also do exclusive giveaways for the paying members. Other ways you can support the channel, I have affiliate links down below. Anything you purchase through there, I get a portion of the proceeds, and it doesn't cost you anything. The Amazon ones, even if you purchase something that's not the item you clicked on, I still get credit. And the final way is I have a merchandise store down in the description below where you can get some of my merchandise. It's on Ember Shirt Co. I've set you up a coupon code that is CrazySharp, all one word, capital C, capital S. CrazySharp saves you 10% at checkout anywhere on Ember Shirt Co. And if you purchase a shirt and send me a picture of it, I'm gonna put it in a video. So guys, that's it. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. It helps me moderate the channel. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I will see you in the next video.